And welcome back, everybody, to EGF Season 3, Week 14, powered by Intel. Thank you, everybody, for joining us tonight. And it is Worst Cast with me, prepared here to bring you these games tonight. But I do have a couple of things I want to mention, as we do have some shortened games tonight, with 4 games only happening in total. And that is due because some of our MAC teams are down in Atlantic City for their esports championship at the Showboat Hotel down there. So we wish all of them good luck. But in the meantime, the other 4 games will be played here tonight, and on the other 2 games, they will be on the official EGF channel. So after we're done here on this channel, go check them out. But worse, for tonight, we are starting off with DePaul versus William and Mary, and William and Mary is coming in on a hot streak, and Paul looking to turn around some of the fortune from earlier in the season.
Yep. William and Mary now 11-2, if I'm not mistaken. Fourth overall seed currently this season, and the
Yep.
Paul quite opposite. I believe only have 2 wins to the name, and 18th in the standing. So very polarized matchup we do have here. Top and the bottom facing off against each other, and we're gonna kind of see what looks do we see from DePaul, and then what does the power level of William and Mary look like against a team like DePaul as you do head into Busan. I think there's always stuff to glean from these matchups, even if it is a higher seed going against a lower seed. How clean do they look in their execution of things? Are they kind of running different stuff? Are they not like playing? They're going to be practicing that kind of stuff, because some players can get caught up in standings and be like, oh, we can just play these other strategies. But also in conference play, where not all the time you're playing against the same teams as other teams. For example, I know a couple teams that have pretty low standings, but they've played the top teams a lot. So
Yeah.
they kind of have a skewed record right now. And we're going to kind of see how William and Mary look. I want to see some clean stuff from them. If they want to keep that 11-2, they got to clean against every team.
Yeah, William and Mary, I've had the pleasure of casting a couple of games, and they have looked on fire every time I've seen them. They usually don't take their opponents light. To your point, right? DePaul is a lower seeded team, but like I said, they're on a little bit of an upswing. They've had some good games, competitive games. They've even gotten a couple wins in the past few weeks. So DePaul is looking to kind of make their mark on the season with a marquee win, and I expect this one to be quite close. But in the end, I do expect William and Mary to kind of pull this out in maybe a 3-1 fashion. I think ball will be competitive, but I don't think that they have the firepower that William and Mary does. But surprises do happen, and especially going into something like Busan, where you can kind of set the pace and set the tone pretty early. Whether you win the map or not is irrelevant, especially if you kind of jump on William and Mary fast.
Yeah, it kind of is irrelevant in a lot of ways. But we're going to see what the competitions are going to be here on Sanctuary. Going to be coming out like William and Mary are showing off the boat with Zen, very common on this map, and to oppose them, Paul is running out with a 6-man variant. I assume that Torb's not going to stay. It might. I have seen some teams. Typically, it's going to be that Sombra Reaper, Sombra Tracer. But I have seen some teams maybe opt the Torben, especially when you swap a double shield like this. I like that Torb a lot. It kind of acts as that anti-dive that you have. There's a Tracer on the enemy team, which Unique probably should be swapping over to after the Sim TP does come out. Torture tracking them the entire time. It's very hard to get rid of it if it's in this particular position because the Hanzo, Zen, and Sigma can't shoot it. But we're rolling out right now, and instantly going to be some action on the right side.
Yeah, and on this right side is a very calm place for a lot of teams to meet, as William and Mary likes their chances, especially with Rival putting that damage in right now. And Nuke Llama already built up 25% of the ult, so putting in work, and as a fan favorite, I can see why. But Obscure is the one that takes Max down first, as the Hammond not finding its mark and not being able to get out, but Andre trading right back. So a 1-for-1 right now, and the health bars are dipping back and forth as Poke is slowly coming through between both teams. Objective is open, and it does look like DePaul is going to take the initiative to go ahead and flip it first. So now DePaul with control of the point, and it's just a slow game now. As Unique waits for Max to come back through, and the slam comes in, already used the adaptive shields. Gonna be taking advantage of it now as they start to pull apart the enemy team of DePaul. And I say that, but it is just low going, as DePaul is already taking up to 20% and trying to turn this fight back with the DPS and tanks still fighting it out on the point. Not sure who's going to end up pulling the fight out, but overall, really great stand just for the percentage, and it looks like William and Mary are going to pack out just briefly.
Yeah, I think it's kind of a mistake to go try to match this composition from DePaul here when you're running William and Mary have going to be swapping off to that Widowmaker. Now, I want them to kind of be on the opposite side from this double shield, trying to push into them over and over again. Could be a detriment. Right now, it's going to rely on Unique getting an off-angle kill right now. If that doesn't happen, it's going to be hard to make headway into this point.
Oh, and a nice headshot coming through, as you said. Wanted that off angle. Going to be putting the damage down. They just now notice exactly where the Widowmaker's at, but it's far too late as main tank forward DePaul is going to go down, putting a lot of emphasis on these snipers. I do like the newbie ended up finding the Widowmaker, but the damage has already been done, and the push is going to come through fast for William and Mary as they try to storm through. Molten Core is going to separate them out for a little bit, but I tell you what, worse, like the percentage on the point already is massive. Even if they end up stalling this out for another 10 or 15%, it's going to be well worth for DePaul.
They're going to keep stalling just a little bit more here, especially with this Rissa. Going in with Fortify. I believe they only have the Baptiste. They won't last much longer. No lamp to keep them up. You get Brigida late in the fight, however, and we are getting a lot of Bob charge accrued, especially with these dynamites going off. Finally, that's going to get stopped. But we're kind of seeing that again. William and Mary is going for this brawly kind of style with this Briggs and Sigma. You can go for that. There's certain compositions it's not preferred, especially in when DePaul is going. It's distinctly an anti kind of bold comp that we've seen a lot of times over and over again, try and just bunker up and outbrawl the Briggs and Sigma, which can do a lot of work, but that enemy composition is going to do just a bit more if these off angles from Unique don't come through. That's kind of the linchpin, and right there we saw a lot of time unanswered from Unique. If that is answered, right, if someone's on top of Unique, if headshots come in from Noob, I mean, that could just be the end of the fight for them.
Yeah, here comes the dangerous part of the fight for DePaul, just trying to push into this crossfire, and it's going to be Rival that starts it off with a flux, and that is pretty much all they need to end it. Pushing right through that window, not letting them get any distance as Unique finds the back end pick. Yeah, William and Mary do a great job of being proactive, especially with their ults when they have an advantage and they know it. But now it's going to be about getting everyone out alive. Oh, doesn't quite find that shot. Yeah, this is going to be incredibly tough push too, especially with the Torb and how slow going DePaul's comp is.
And the full support ults available here from Willie and Mary, and that those mines, you know exactly where that's going. It's going on top of their head when they go for the rotate. I would not be remiss to see the mines go in very shortly. However, you have some angles, but going up from the front like this, that leaves you open to get rocked, get pulled. It's not going to do it this time, but still not the most ideal engage.
Yeah, not the most ideal engage, but it does cut off the back positioning for DePaul, so they're going to have to rotate at least right up in front of both of these snipers, and it's basically just sit behind these shields as long as you possibly can, and hopefully this Widow doesn't find any picks. But DePaul's doing a great job of putting pressure down onto the point. They do still have multiple members alive, pushing through, trying to find any picks that they can. You are going to see the rally come out. Now the rally is going to push through. Tangerine does a great job. Now Tangerine's going to be pushing through, and they worked on this, working together as a team as they flipped the point over, and the snipers just didn't find the picks like they wanted to. So DePaul takes control of the point, and now we're getting towards that overtime tick, and it's really just ball here to contest, and then ball does go down, so now it's just throw your bodies at the point, and these snipers have to find these picks, otherwise it's not going to work out for them, and they does end up finding the map. Not sure it's going to be quite enough as the turret and all of the damage is going to poke through. And here we go. DePaul did a great job in round one.
Yep, and again, we're going to kind of be seeing what does Willie and Mary look like right now. Well, currently, after they lose that first fight, they set themselves in a really bad position in terms of trying to retake. It's going to be incredibly difficult, especially when they swap off that Tracer. But the reason why you have a Tracer a lot of time over a Widowmaker, well, you have that one-shot potential Widowmaker gives you. Tracer gives you so much backline pressure, where their backline has to be turning, commit resources, or even the Sigma has to commit resources to preventing you from getting in. Even if they're Torb you want. With your ball, you're syncing up with them. You're syncing up with when you're going to go in with your work core. You go in with the ball tracer. You're going to put a lot of pressure on the back line, and that's going to help you brawl, actually. It's very kind of weird. Like, it's going to help you brawl them because you have that tracer in the fight existing and exerting pressure. With that Widowmaker, you don't have that. But now, speaking of brawling with those non-brawl comps, we're going to have a rush against each other right now to see how these two teams look on this specific composition.
Yeah, and only a slight variance in here for DePaul as Volek is going to go with the Doomfist, looking for that one-punch potential as opposed to that flashbang that would give a little bit more pressure to the front line. And there you go. The first pin comes through, but Max is going to trade it right back out. Tangerine gets the D-Mech, so it is going to be a lot of pressure on William and Mary to try to get out of there and survive as they do dagger out Baby Diva here. But DePaul with a very convincing first fight, especially with those Doom punches.
Doom composition does go a lot faster than the cast composition. They're going to be swapping off to the Reaper. That's not actually fixing the issue here. You're not going to be able to match the speed, but they're relying on maybe a little bit more survivability, 25 more HP, Wraith form if they need it, a little bit more frontline pressure, but not much. Already, Doomfist has their impact.
Yeah, Doomfist already putting the pressure down, and it's just not going to be good. Even if you don't hit the wall, you are going to go off the map right there. But William & Mary is suffering the consequences of this Doomfist, as it is just cleanup time for the rest of the team. Yes, in the end, Doom did go down, but, you know, damage done, and it separates the fight out so much. You have the Doom knockups, you got the May walls. I mean, tell me a little bit about how they're supposed to break through this with all this disruption.
It's going to be hard. Right now, on this point, what we're seeing a lot of the time is bait plays. They're trying to bait. Hey, where are they holding bait the other way? See? They just pin down here. Speed far left. There we go. Really, man? It's got the gist of it. You bait play. That way they can't wall you off at choke. Typically, that's why you only send your diva off to check, but then your diva's not there to DM.
Yeah, and a beautiful garage door going to come out from both teams, but it's William & Mary taking advantage. There's first one to throw it down. I mean, they got the advantage of the fire strike to go through it. And now DePaul's on a bit of the back foot. They got to find a way to get some picks in order to turn this fight around. No ults are really being committed as of yet. As Noob went down, Tangerine may commit the Diva Bomb. We'll see. Doesn't seem likely, as it does look like most of the team is just kind of trying to stall it out, wait for some time to tick, as William & Mary has a nice big advantage in this fight. As Volek does end up going down, they eventually are going to swap this point. Oh, I don't think Newbie's even going to try. Yeah, and there we go. DePaul's going to back off, but 75%. It's a good opener.
I think William & Mary is having issues locking down targets individually and taking them out one by one. Something the Reaper does struggle with. Yes, a big damage threat in terms of just upfront aid getting perfect range on your shotguns, but locking something down is something the Reaper can't really do, like a Cassidy can. So kind of interesting swap there, but Volak might be doing it for them.
Yeah, Volek trying to do it. Oh, and a nice Blizzard does end up getting down, dodges out of the defense matrix, and it's going to be a bomb onto the point as multiple trades come through. DePaul doing a good job of taking advantage of some of the ults that are missing, but Max with the shatter on Obscure goes down instantly, takes the brunt of the hammer, and William & Mary are going to hold fast, even if picks do come through. But I like the aggression of William & Mary, but DePaul answered right back.
Yeah, and Volok wants to be with his team on these pushes. They're going to allow that when he punches in, he's not taking immediate impact from ability, right? They're going to have to whip other characters in their face. But right there, Volok goes in. Some people can actually turn on him because the team isn't there to follow up. And now, again, another fast-paced aggression tempo here.
Yeah, quite honestly, they scouted out the Reaper right there, but in the end, didn't really matter because they had the defense matrix, they had the ice block, and now Rival is the first one to get picked. Volek's going to go down, Bomb's going to come out, shield shattered, got to get out of there. Zeph ends up killing Rival before the mech came through. Pin not going to find its target as Zeph is now all by his lonesome, trying to stay alive, but Zeph is there to reinforce. Zeph has the shatter, gonna land it on two, and it's big for Max as he goes down almost instantaneously, and the MO is there to keep everyone healthy for DePaul, and it is just a brawl on this point right now. Slowly the victor will come through. Oh, the nice Blizzard's gonna come down for Unique as it just freezes multiple members of DePaul, and they are kind of scattered right now, trying to figure out who they can take down. Beat's gonna be committed because we are getting towards 5% left, and now it's just a scramble to touch the point, get that overtime tick, there it is, but no one's here to touch, and that's gonna be William & Mary taking the second round. Very competitive.
Kind of when William & Mary got that point, it was difficult for DePaul to try to get back in. They had a couple fights where they trade extensively on their ultimates, right? They're going back and forth 3 to 4 ultimates in a fight. And if you lose that fight, I mean, that's so good for the defenders, right? Not only do they burn so much time, they also burn off win conditions from you. That's simply why you kind of want to trade ults for other ults that don't impact win cons for later fights. And right there, not happening for DePaul. And we're going to be going to this third round to see if they can take this first map against, I guess, maybe a Titan. They are 11-2, very, very good record. But currently, DePaul look like they're not phased by that at all. Are really putting up a fight. Now it's going to be a 6-man composition going off for DePaul and William & Mary. This ball comp once again going to be coming up, but apparently going to keep the Torp here. That's a anti-6-man kind of a change-up that you barely see on this map in particular.
Yeah, this map is definitely a more wide-open map for the teams to kind of pull each other apart, try to pick, prod, and see exactly where the weakness lies. With the Torbjorn, it's going to be incredibly tough for the Sombra to find value, as Alondre is going to find Zeph with the help of Nuke Llama, fan favorite Nuke Llama, finding more picks with Alondre. And now we see William and Mary starting to step on the gas a little bit, play a little bit faster, a little bit quicker, a little bit more coordinated, and they are going to cap the first point.
And that's typically why you're picking up the Torbjorn in this comp. I see it a lot on Sanctuary as opposed to this map. But you're picking that up because it's harder for the 6-man to actually get an engage off and pick off Torb. It's very, very difficult indeed. But they could probably swap off to that Tracer for Noob. I don't know if Noob plays it, but in this kind of a style where you're aiming to kind of assassinate a backline character, it's a lot more effective than this Reaper. And now it's going to be on Unique to get value on the backside as they're turned around.
Oh, nice stick, especially with no fade for Mischievous. Does go down. Unique pays the price for it, though, so that's a lot of damage down, and Max is going to have to find a new dive buddy, as it is just going to be William and Mary on the point, trying to hold it down. Noob doing a great job of pressuring everybody out, giving some space, especially with Zephyr going down there. Now it's just a little bit of a stall and wait for Zeph come back. That does give William and Mary time for Unique to get back, as it is both teams at full strength yet again for round number 3. And I'm struggling to see how they're going to break through this Torb turret, this setup they have up on high ground, especially with Molten Core coming online right now. And there's the dive. Here comes the Molten Core. Monkey is in the back line, is dropping dangerously low. And it's Tangerine finding Max first. But there's the Molten Core doing its job. Will we see the EMP to try to secure the fight? No, not going to be needed. As Noob ends up finding 2 and putting big damage down on the third, as Alondre also falls. Now it is DePaul's turn to try to take control of this point. They have multiple members on here. It's just a matter of time before Unique goes down, and there we go. The swap over for DePaul.
What does the retake look like from William and Mary? They kind of want to create space between their backline and where this monkey's face is going to be going, right? You want to make it so the monkey's going to have to run up as long as possible and get into lines of fire when they're trying to engage the backline. Going down main would allow them to just simply jump on top of you from up top, so obviously going to go around far right where it's harder to get to. Already under pressure, having to force the jump just to get in, and this is a similar story to what we've seen before.
Ooh, and a big EMP does end up finding all 5 in that small area. The only one that was left untouched was the Tracer who was on the backside. And in the end, though, it's not going to end up mattering as William and Mary start to turn the fight with one going down right there. Mischievous and Zeph does find the Mega, but it's only a matter of time because they are pressuring the rest of his teammates very, very tough. Even gets another one. The healing is very good, but Zeph is going to go down. And now it's just about stall. I like Tangerine, just go to the point. You know you're going to die, stall at the point. The flip will eventually come through for William and Mary, though.
And that's kind of thing. When you're typically in 6-man, you want your Winston to not have to force jump to engage on targets because they need to get out when they get low on resources and when you are taking a lot of upfront damage, especially in a composition that includes this Torbjorn. So typically, you want to walk up, speed in with the Winston, and then have the Winston jump out to safety when they need to as the team disengages behind him. That's not what happened there. Instead, you just saw the Winston face first flop into them. We've seen that time and time again this round, and it's ended up as well as each time so far.
Yeah, and adaptive shields end up saving lives, and it distracts enough for Rival to find a 2-piece on the bomb on the backside. Ended up picking up a third for Zeph, and the immediate swap for Volok there is not going to work out for him as Noob goes in. Not going to find anything, but Tangerine doing the best that they can, trying to find kills. But there's the overtime pick. The rest of the team's dead. It might be a Doomfist coming in over the top. It is. Does end up getting the touch, but going down almost immediately. And it's only Noob and Zeph to touch, and they're not going to be able to do it. As William and Mary, I'm not going to say sneak out that round, but I tell you what, DePaul definitely on the upswing.
Yeah. It's closer than they would have liked for sure. To come in. They are kind of... It's weird because they are playing pretty well. They have compositions that make sense into the end compositions. They've obviously done a little bit of homework here. Not only for the map, but also for the enemy. And it's kind of allowed them to have these compositional advantages over time, but they've also kind of... They don't feel like when I watch a team like let's say Wichita or other top teams right now, like I can tell against when they're playing against like teams like DePaul, it's like you can tell that they're a top team. And William and Mary right now, it's like they're just missing something that's not completely there. Like they have the basis, they have the backbone for everything, or the skeletal structure, but there's not the muscles on there. It's not fully developed yet.
Yeah, and Max has been a very confident player. We've had him do quite a few times on interviews. Very confident, thinks that they have the best roster, especially since of where they started and where they developed to. To your point, they are working on their coordination, their team play, but also Tangerine. I think that was a perfect game for the last time you had Tangerine on it. in his win interview, where they were working on their coordination and their timing, and I think right there we got to see the best of it and a little bit of the bad side of it with as you said, Zeph going in on Winston, jumping in instead of just walking in with the speed. Again, few of these things are being worked out. But next, we get to see them maybe try the same comp again on Numbani. It is more of a vertical style map, a lot more places for the Winston to play. And again, we'll probably see a little bit more Torb as well, as that's also a kind of a fan favorite on this map.
Yeah, definitely gets the Torb. Definitely Brig, Ana, Monkey Dive is very common on this map
Mhm.
in particular. Probably could be seeing that come out, but we'll kind of see how these compositions are looking. Look, we've already got that Ana locked in. Devious should be locking in the Brigida as well. Not going to be the Mercy instead. To pair up with Noob, also perfectly viable on this map, and and there's the Torp, like you said. Yep. This is going to be a pretty standard dive, anti-dive kind of setup, where instead of
Mhm.
focusing too much on the dive, like you'd have a Tracer there instead of the Volak, you'd have a Tracer, and then you'd have a Tracer Ash or something. Instead, we're going with the Echo Torbjorn. It's going to allow them to control space a lot heavier with the cooldowns that both the Echo and the Torbjorn can put out, along with how the defensive dive does play out. You control the top two high grounds where both the Winston and the Diva are currently. You control them, and whenever William and Mary try to take them with this double bubble, so whenever that monkey does jump up, get the bubble, force the other bubble out, you're just pumping in damage to them. They're trying to farm nano, but really that's kind of how you gotta give it. It's like you can't just not pressure them at all, right? Because if they don't feel pressured at all, they'll just take infinite space. So
And yeah, there's William and Mary doing their patented scouting technique, just send Unique out, find out exactly what's being run, and they swap immediately over to the Pharah, Nuke Llama onto the Mercy. And it'll be very interesting to see how Obscure and Alondre treat their Ana gameplay, as we do have a pause coming through, as you can see on your screens, and we'll find out exactly what's going on there. But worse, I was sitting here, though I just brought up the Ana, and that was because on Bonnie specifically, every time I've seen it from these teams, the Annas seem to struggle. And they are getting told right now that they accidentally set it to quick play settings instead of an actual competitive. So we'll get that all swapped around and we'll restart that. But in the meantime, back to the Ana thing. Laundry's done a very beautiful job of being able to deter any dives that come her way, using the cooldowns properly. But a lot of the other Annas in the league have struggled. Is it a matter of where they rotate to? Is it a matter of cooldowns, like I said with Andre? Or is it a matter of team helping peel in that aspect?
So so kind of it's a mixture of a lot of those things, but a big part of it I gotta say is gonna be on a position and
Okay.
on a big cooldown usage, right?
Mhm.
It is very important where you position and how you use cooldowns when the monkey jumps in. I think a lot of people go, "Oh, the bubble, the monkey's gonna jump, get these cooldowns, get this bubble," and I can't do anything to it, right? There's a lot of things you
Mhm.
can do. You can kite. You have healing resources. I mean, nade plus break back means you aren't dying, first of all, and then you fucking fire on it. You have honor nade on you. You aren't dying to a monkey. You're gonna have to get a lot of damage come in. Another thing, going in to pause. Let's go.
That's
Okay.
what I'm talking about,
Yeah, let's go. I'm
more or
digging.
less.
Allow me more time to speak. Let's go. Okay, so yeah, it's gonna like you get that honor on you. You're not dying to support there anyways. So you kite out that monkey bubble and then big bash away, big bash flail away. You know. So yeah,
We're
that's kind of how
getting,
you want to play it.
yeah.
Some teams don't do it that way, and they mess up and they die. But we should be good to go soon.
Oh, we're here that third time's the charm, and it'll be definitely ready to go when we go back in. But yeah, okay, I like what you're saying with the rotations and especially the position. I agree, and we've seen Annas get punished quite a bit. Whenever it is picked, it's almost like what used to be the Zen. Now with Greg, Zen's very protected, got a lot of peel there. But then with Unique, I like that they scouted out and decided to go with the Pharah into that Torb Echo comp. Now, tell me a little bit about the thought process there.
It depends on the Echo versus Pharah matchup. How aggressively does the Echo want to take it, right? So
Yeah.
when we get to the point, and you'll kind of see like, the ideal way, if that Pharah has to come in, the only way a Pharah can really get in and pressure backline is by coast, is going far left onto coast. Echo can
Okay.
kind of post up there and try to just full on duel the Pharah if they're confident in their ability, because what it will do is it will literally they should win the duel every time as long as the skill level for the Echo and Pharah equal,
Yeah.
because it is Echo's broken. is a broken character, guys. You right-click stickies, you hit E, and the Pharah is deleted. Most pocket does not matter. And what you can actually do is, in that position, the Ana, because they want to play main with their tanks, they can't help your Echo, but your Ana can help. Their Ana can't help the Pharah, but your Ana can help your Echo. So
Right.
it's really a 3v2, and it's not fair. So that's kind of where that kind of falls apart for Unique. It does come down to, is the fair kind of just diff Echo in that situation? Because otherwise they're on their own in an unfair situation, and their team doesn't really have a lot of the ability to make plays to actually take enough space for them because they kind of get zoned out so hard.
Yeah, and I'm super happy that we basically got the exact same setup as we did last time. They still went out and scouted and checked, and they are going to stick to Unique. And as you pointed out, Unique is going to stick to this left side, going to be looking to find a good opportunity to go in. Echo was posted up there as well. Not find on the turret, going to be taken out right away. So now William and Mary are set up for their initial dive, depending on where they want to go. And it is going to be top right for them initially, as we see Unique just putting the pepper damages right from the outside, taking down awful lows. Hanzo, but the Storm Arrow finds the target. Nuklama going to go down in the back. And as you said, for Unique and that pharmacy is incredibly difficult for them to do anything, as Unique has to back out and just hope for some healing there. But I love DePaul. I love how you pointed all this out. It's playing out just like thought it would. But here we go. Another re-engage coming in really, really quickly. Ooh, yeah, nice shot. DePaul doing good.
Kind of just needs Zeph to kind of not die. Not die on the top right. And Joanna needs to not die. That's why you can't sit there. You can't sit in these small choke. You're creating a choke for yourself against a Pharah. And now Unique can go crazy. 3K already. Looking for the air shots. Did find it. Not going to find the final blow. But basically got that kill. And we're kind of seeing this. You're not adapting your positioning to what you're playing against. Against a Pharah, you can't put yourself in a small, enclosed space where you can only look out one direction. Because they're going to just spam it, and you are going to die. What you need to play is where the Pharah is right now. On the backside of that playground where you can fall back to where spawn is, that's where you need to play if you're Torb and Ana. Because it cuts off so many LOSs for the Pharah, and it means you can actually jump out and still impact team because you have line of sight on stuff. That's what I'm talking about with positioning. That's the biggest reason why Ana's die first on this map. You just aren't positioned correctly against the enemy composition.
I do love it when Worst gets incredibly worked. Almost as excited as probably William and Mary was in that play. We are going to see the boost jump right in, and Unique is going to shut it down almost instantaneously as the Pharah barrage is going to find and reign true, and justice has been served, and even more coming and raining as Mercy is just trying to bunny hop away with the Ana. Not going to be able to, and everyone cleans up this fight. But yeah, like I was saying, I love it when Worst gets hyped. It's the best.
Yes, and we're gonna kind of see what this adaptation for them on the streets phase is, and I think it's something because it's like I've been playing this game since launch. I've been playing at a high level for 4 years now. Like I see these things so often, and it's just like, man, it's been out. This game's been out like 20 years, man. Like we gotta start fixing stuff up. This is not a barrage angle, but this is a one-shot the soldier angle, like right there. And this is kind of a wall on streets phase.
Yeah, a little bit of, yeah, you're definitely right. A little bit of wash. I mean, the superior positioning, coming through from the previous fights. Yes, Noob will end up getting the duplicate and taking down win, but it's just not going to matter because there's not quite enough there for the rest of the team to pull it through. I say that, but Seth and Newbie just went straight in and took down both supports, and now it's going to be totally on William and Mary's line and DPS line. And the damage is there. It's just a soldier and oh my goodness,
Monkey Nine.
He pushed him off. Worse. I hate to see that.
Monkey Nine does go crazy. I think a big part of why Streets phase sometimes can feel like either the easiest point in the world to take or very difficult is depending on how your post first fight on second goes in terms of how much space you take with that position. You saw that Pharah posted up so aggressively where the DPS couldn't even get in. Like if that space is taken, second phase on attack, super easy. There's some hero plays coming off from DePaul for the late phase, but super easy. Now the swap over to Rush because it's so enclosed right now. They just want to play this Rush comp.
Yeah, they're just going to probably do that first push to get in there. The Dragon does go through, separated out the team. Zeph dropping extremely low. That leaves the pressure on Tangerine just to hold the cart. And they are doing a great job of just, keeping it stalled out right on that corner. But now the pressure comes through. And this is where you really get to see, as you just said, the Rush really come into its own. As everyone is falling one by one. Incredibly tough to keep this Reaper off the back line, especially with tanks going down. Hanzo just able to put the damage in from the side, as there is a coming through with the nano boost, but Obscure does end up dying for it. And it does look like a little bit of trading going through for DePaul. This is going to be tough for them to completely hold out on, but the duplicate's going to probably wrap this fight up for him as William & Mary start to back it out a little bit.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of space created, especially with that second bomb going in, high ground. Going to be going to safety there is that back line, not wanting to get caught out randomly there, but they are going to be forced out. They don't have a lot of resources nor a lot of CC to stop the Zeph from doing their work. Already 50% on those mines. They're going to be getting a lot when they roll through. All they have to worry about is when are their death shields on cooldown and how much damage can they take. Not in front of that window, you can't take much, but they don't want to see it again.
And that's going to be the main concern, especially with that window. And Unique is just the first one to drop the damage with Death Blossom. Going to be finding multiple targets. And now it's kind of a scatter again. And this is what William & Mary does so well. They make you make horrible choices, like a lose-lose. You're either going to lose your supports or you're going to lose your tanks. And that is what the window did. And that's what the Death Blossom did. It made them make really hard choices. And in the end, William & Mary get a nice time bank of 233. There was one real team fight win for DePaul, and that was on third.
You can't give William & Mary that much space when they have deceptively a lot of long-range damage in terms of that Baptiste window coming through. Can't give that much space. You kind of have to cut them off in the choke with your composition. You got to go fast, because if you give them too much space like that, they get the window set up in front of point. They're going to start pushing it, and how do you really stop it, right? How do you stop them from catching that point in front of the window? They're getting double the healing. You're taking double the damage, and you kind of have to go on that backline then. But if you go on the backline, who's going to touch point when there's a Reaper Death Blossom, right? So you kind of put yourself in a bad position. Obviously, it was good on William & Mary to realize that and take advantage of it. But DePaul, in terms of not taking the space that is required, you have to rely on the fact that your ball is going to be able to get there fast. Your Doomfist has follow-up potential. Throw a nade in there, just try and stall it out, their approach. Because if you don't, what we just saw happens to DePaul.
Yeah, DePaul definitely has uphill battle right now, because this is one of William & Mary's better maps, definitely one of their better map differentials here. They do a great job of 3-0ing quite a few times, so DePaul's going to have to find a way to break in, especially with Newbie on that Farah. Don't know if they're going to do any of that scouting that William & Mary did. Unique is going to end up matching it, so it's Mischievous and Nuke Llama both on the Mercies, and we are going to get to see some fun duels coming through with DePaul and William & Mary as the first fight approaches. Looks like they are going to be scouting out this Tracer and making her work a little bit, but ends up getting into the back line all the same as the rockets start coming down for Unique. A Newbie is the first one to find the pick, as it is just a main push right now for DePaul. They are going full bore, and they do not care. They are in at all costs, and it works out as both supports are down. And just as effective as Unique was on the first push, DePaul finds their way in, and they are just as effective.
And they found their way on the first push, actually. William & Mary did get repelled on that first push. So now how much space are they going to take here? I kind of want to see this point capture in, drop off two people right about now, start walking forward, try to take high ground, try to pressure them off. Noob's doing a good job by themselves, but a random Hanzo air to the head could end all of that. So you need the D there, try and cover for it, and try and put some pressure onto this Hanzo. From that range, it can be difficult, and you're not really looking to kill the backline right now if you're the one in the DP. You're not looking to kill the backline. You're looking to create pressure and allow Noob to do their thing. So we saw how effective it was on first point. Second point, a lot less effective, I must say, because where does the Pharaoh play to not get instantly just killed out of the sky? Well, I guess when you one-shot the enemy Tracer, that does end up helping.
Yeah, opening up a lot of doors now, and there was your point about Hanzo putting the Storm Arrow damage down, gonna have to be healed right away. Looking for that angle on that barrage, but, you know, Mac doing a great job trying to stall out the cart a little bit while they wait for Unique to come back. That Tracer, find that initial pick, opens up the door for them to push and take space like you mentioned. Now they're gonna be looking for some type of angle for Tangerine and maybe Noob. But there it is again. Maxwell finds Obscure. That's the danger of leaving Anna on the cart. You get that ball that's just going to cause all kinds of havoc. And now the rest of the team, while dealing with the ball, is falling to the rest of William & Mary. They are putting the damage in and the pressure on. Yes, the res comes through on Obscure, but Tangerine is out. So now it's just a matter of, do they want to push in or do they want to wait for Tangerine?
And they don't have that nano anymore. They don't have that nano to kind of allow Zeph to take aggressive space on high ground while also pressuring kills under the enemy support, but is going to have the primal instead. But with nano, it's not going. With this quad, it's not going to last too long. That 1,000 HP. It looks like that's exactly what they're looking to do. Some more kill coming in here for the Ana, but with those mines, not going to help at all.
And there's the classic Tracer ball jump in, just taking Obscure out. Ana is such a vulnerable target, especially when mines come through. Volek doing their job, putting pressure on the Brigitte. And if we'll be forced to trance out, not sure who did that, but that is a big ultimate to be used right away. Still have not seen a Barrage nor a Valkyrie as William and Mary start to repel this push in as well. I mean, I'm telling you, that, William and Mary, when they find their footing, they are so tough to dislodge.
And how can Noob get in, right? What can Noob do? They can't really jockey for positioning. They gotta go for a long time, and they're not doing that right now. Because there isn't really anything to contest them in super high space, like above coast again. That's why I love coast so much, is not really much can touch you over there outside of like Hanzo headshot. You gotta just kind of just pray a little bit that the Hanzo does not hit that shot. But because if they do, your game plan falls apart. But like, what can Noob do? They can't walk up like this. They get discorded and then started getting logged at. Storm arrows going in, but that anti-nade is going to be the start of them trying to get in.
Oh, and a beautiful shot. Yeah, it was a buddy, but it potentially could have been a headshot. But Win is there to find the kill onto Zeph. Do get a little bit of car progression. Nice barrage coming in from the side. And the res comes through, so multiple things happening for DePaul at once. The bomb is going to be invested here by Rival. Just going to be there to make some space as Winston puts the shield down. And there we go. Everybody off high ground for William and Mary. Now it's about the low ground fight. Can they find the pick that they need? Yes, Hanzo jumped up there. Now he's all up there all alone as Zeph is going to be pressuring him out and maybe taking him down. Might need to come back and help the team as he does. And there we go. Point 2 is looking pretty good for DePaul as they end up capping it. With a bit of time left on the bank. Yeah, there's going to be some retouches here, but in the end, I think that they're going to end up taking. See, up there it is, 337, and now they're going to pressure the front.
The likelihood of manning with more time, not high. They can do it. They have the ability to snowball, but again, it's going to be difficult to try and snowball this to point with ultimate on the board. You only have Zeph with that primal rage. You have the Transcendence almost available here from Elandry, and that's a recipe for disaster. There's not much the Winston can do about that. Ooh, the momentum killed there for Max.
Momentum killed, but the mines still end up going down, and Tracer is going to full commit to that as Unique is in with Max as they both find their targets with the roll through and the pulse bomb. Both supports are going to go down, and that spells doom and gloom for DePaul as the resets start coming through with the jumps off the map.
It's sad they're going to have to swap off. This is it's kind of what it is, right? You don't want to always swap off. You have Barrage coming up, Valkyrie, but you're going to have to do it. Your composition is just not suited to making fast headway on this point. You have 2 minutes and 40 seconds to do it. I don't know if this is the comp to do it. Of course, they are relying on the Nano Winston. The Nano Winston can get kited so easily, especially when you have to engage from so far away. And now it's Unique, once again, looking for this on who doesn't have much help because the movie is so on the Pharah.
Yeah, and now it's all on the and Diva to try to peel off Unique. It does look like Obscure is just going to try to hard focus on the battle in front of her. Let Tangerine deal with Unique, but in the end, they just both walk their separate ways. But now, Ana left alone again, and that's going to be the target call, but Unique cannot seem to find the angle that they need. Rival ends up taking Volek again, so the Doomfist also going to go down. They do get the res. Valk has been used. DePaul investing a little bit into this fight. Nothing too big as of yet, but there you go. The Nano's going to come through. Now it's on to William and Mary to try to counter it with the Zenyatta ultimate in Transcendence. William and Mary doing their best to hold on, but the Diva Bomb finds Win. That is crucial amount of damage down. Ooh. And the barrage from Noob going to be opening up all kinds of space now. Unique ends up finding Mischievous. That is a big pick, especially for the respawns coming through. Nice bit of delay there for Paul. It's all going to be about the respawns. Can they keep control of the doors? They do have rally. They're going to pop it early. Nucleum are going to be pushing out with the team. They need to touch this point, and they do get the contest through. Noob doing a great job of controlling the skies. But Rival with this crucial Diva Bomb does look like they're just going to go up and contest the Pharah. Very nice job. Mines on cart to DePaul, falling apart in fight a little bit, and they're not even going to need to invest the Diva Bomb as William and Mary can take control with the help of Nucleum.
What can you do there? And Zeph walking forward, Mercy has to go and help them because they'll get blown up otherwise, and so that allows Rival to just focus on whoever's not pocketed right there. Whoever's the Mercy not left clicking right there, I'm just going to jump at them and try and one-shot them. In that case, it just so happened it was Noob who is swapping off of that Pharah. It's very hard to make significant headway with Pharah because even if you win that one fight, you're going to come out and you don't have the ability to lock down those people that are staggering out, especially this ball who's going to have those mines. I mean, we've seen multiple times when someone is running away and the Rival just jumps at them and the Rival doesn't lose mech for it. Dival has not lost mech for these overextensions multiple times. Oh, they lost the pulse bomb.
Obscure will 180 sleep, and pulse bomb was used and canceled. So I was just about to mention Unique is the great job of find kills, but there's Rival over the top with 2, and Obscure and Noob both going down. It's gonna fall all on Valak to find some kills with this ultimate or with a punch, not be able to do it. And Tangerine does end up picking up 1. Doom coming down with the fist, going on to the Bastion. But Valak is going to drop, and the overtime ticks away. Obscure gets the nail down onto the Tracer. Noob just trying to touch, does get done, but it's just going to not be enough because William and Mary do a great job with their swaps, and the Bastion was unexpected, you could tell. DePaul did a great job there at the end. Just not enough.
Not enough at all. It's going to be William and Mary to take the second half, and it was looking good. First point went really well. They couldn't snowball like William and Mary did. I said that was kind of the biggest difference between second point feeling like a free point for the attackers, feeling like such a big time sink, is that after fight, how much space do you take? How aggressive do you get with it? And is it successful? And for DePaul, they couldn't take enough space, right? The Pharaoh was kind of in the air getting shot at with storm arrows and felt really sad. They're like, I can't do anything here, man. Like, they are just looking at me and I can't stop them. So it was really rough for Noob, in particular on the second point and into the third point. They got a little bit farther than I expected, but still not enough to take out Mary's defense.
Yeah, William and Mary doing such a great job of just keeping the pressure on, and we were just talking about making DePaul have tough choices and kind of walk into bad situations. We'll have to find out exactly how DePaul decides they want to adjust for Volskaya Industries. That will be coming up next. Go ahead and join us back here after this quick break. And as promised, we are back here in the EGF, brought to you by Intel. With worse, yet again, we do have DePaul and William & Mary, and we do get to see either the conclusion of this game or a continuation into maybe a reverse sweep or at least tying it up 2-2. But we are going to Volsky Industry, and as we all know, it can be a little snowbally, and we'll get to see William & Mary attacking first. So worst, I got to ask, who's taking this one?
I will have my bet on William and Mary. I can see DePaul taking it. It's an astronomical impossibility. We've seen weakness from William and Mary in some areas, and we've also seen DePaul have some strength in certain areas. But I think William and Mary are a solid team, and definitely should take it. I hope. If you're a William and Mary fan, if you're like what the expectation of the power level of this team, given their 11th placing, you kind of will like we hope. If you're a fan, you're like, we hope it's not because just the conference is weaker and we're playing weak teams, that kind of stuff. You kind of get worried in, like I said, in conference. But there's also, not only can you have worse seating than you might expect, but the opposite can happen where you have heightened seating because of strength of schedule. That can happen. It is, and I'm not going to make any claims about if it's happened with William and Mary, but it's definitely a possibility. Now DePaul is kind of trying to prove that with as they are sitting at 2 wins right now. And trying to take this one in a reverse sweep. They did get reverse sweep by Hawaii before, but you know,
Yeah,
hoping to do the same to William and Mary.
I was gonna say, and we've seen a lot of different things from William and Mary already today. Like they usually like to run the Reinhardt comps, and today we've seen a lot of ball tracer, a lot of that comboing going on, and a lot of diva, coming in for rival, which is kind of a main champion for them. So it's nice to see William and Mary mixing up the comps. I don't expect the Roadhog to stick through. I think it's unique and to be going out to scout. But yeah, and now we got the ball on a little bit of a similar comp we saw on Nubani. With Mischievous on the Brigitte instead of the Mercy. So that'll be interesting to see how Mischievous plays this one a little bit differently rather than just sticking on top with Noob with that Echo or with that Pharah. But unique, again, on that Pharah. I've been practicing quite a bit. Come a long way since early on in the season and has been considered one of the best Pharahs in the tournament so far. And, we get to see Zeph try to make a quick hold here for the team. Nuklama going to be putting that Alandri right back. So Zenyatta not going to be down in this fight as Workshop does go down to Tangerine. And, that was just really good pressure coming out from DePaul, and it's going to make William and Mary rethink what they're doing here.
I want to apologize to DePaul. I've been saying 2 wins. They have 3. I had 2 in the brain because that's how many losses William and Mary had, like comparisons. It's the caster brain. You like drawing analogies and comparisons between things, even if they don't exist sometimes. Just how it is. It's content. That's what it is. And right now we're going to be seeing some content for Max. He deletes 700 billion HP from his life pool right now in about 2 seconds.
Yeah, he went down really quick, but not as fast as Mischievous, right? Mischievous just exploded with the Tracer and the Pharah. I'm sorry, with the Torb, Pharah, and the ball jumping in. And now we just see DePaul just kind of falling apart at the seams, as with Mischievous going down, it means Obscura is sitting there all alone, and Tangerine couldn't keep him alive. And now it's just on Noob to maybe try to touch the point a little bit longer, keep it stalled out, but there's Noob going down, and DePaul going to be giving up the first point. And they held him to about halfway.
Yeah, and if you're coming up to Paul this next fight, you have Counter Nano Winston in the back line. They have nothing to peel, very little boops. You can kind of play here if you're unique, play to save your Conk Mine, and save to save your boop, or Max as well, your regular boop. Because those two are the only way you're going to disengage the monkey from your backline. This is a big thing in terms of how you play Wrecking Ball, is how well do you play around enemy Winston, because you are a very anti-dive character sometimes with the CC you have.
Yeah, and Soldier's going to be put in kind of a dangerous situation, being right all by his lonesome. And he does end up paying the price for it. Malik didn't see that coming. The communication wasn't there to keep him up, and we're seeing Zeph going to be getting nanoed and popping Mega Monkey to get in the back and cause all kinds of disruption. And mission accomplished. Tangerine with the bomb finds 2, and that's going to be sending William and Mary back to rethink the strategy for this next fight.
Definitely rethinking the strategy. Indeed, they are now being repelled. There's someone that... I like that pause, because if I look over, I can see both me and Prepaid make the same exact face, just inquisitive, just actually the emoji, just I see. Very odd decision to throw that pulse bomb for Noob in a very one fight. I understand you want to hit it. It's got some serotonin in there, But man, you really needed to stop the backline from just walking in, because the only thing to kill this Brigitte once this trans comes out was the pulse bomb. You don't have that anymore.
I was about to say maybe Noob can build back up to it real quickly before anything comes out, but Maxwell built up those mines, and now it's just utter chaos for DePaul on the point. We can't put this all on Noob. They had the ultimates to come in, but I tell you what, you were right. With the face we both made, I immediately started laughing, but we're going to see him swap over to the Doom. Wholesale changes might be coming through just to touch the point. It's a nice stall coming out, both members dropping onto the point, but they are going to be cleaned up fairly quickly. And now it's bombs and rolls all coming through. Obscure going to go down, Tangerine also, Zeph both on the point now. It's just a little bit of a cleanup crew for William and Mary. Everyone's super healthy. Rally being popped. It is just going to be a taking over as Volley goes down one more time, and they're not even going to be allowed to touch William and Mary. Cap with 3-1, but oh my god, dude.
I think it's gonna be easy to say, oh, Noob threw that, the pulse bomb. I mean, yeah, they needed the pulse bomb to kind of neutralize the backline, but also, where was any kind of pressure on the backline as they're walking up? It seems like, again, it's very similar, reminiscent of that Numani defense where they give so much space on this dive comp, and you can't do that. You just can't give that much space. You're giving them too much room to work with. They have a Zenyatta. You have to stuff that character. Discord Orb is immensely powerful. I am failing on the numbers right now because this game has been, the number for Discord Orb has been changed so many times over the years, and I had them all memorized at one point, but it kind of fell off of me. But I believe it's 20% right now.
Yeah,
it could be 15, but I believe it's 20%. It was 15 for a while. They buffed it to 20%. It was more before that. Before 15%, it was more. It was like 25, something like 30. Crazy. It's 20 right now. It's still immensely powerful, and when you give the space for that Zenyatta to pick and choose Discord targets and pick and choose who you're trying to go for, especially in that stall situation, like that Winston effectively has 20% less HP, right? But it's not exactly how the math works out, but it's
science.
in caster lingo, in caster brain, 20% less HP. That's what Discord does. It's so powerful in those situations. You have to stuff that character and make them pressured to not just be able to pick and choose who they're discording and pick and choose who they're going to pick out in a fight.
Yeah, and quite honestly, William and Mary's support line does such a great job of communicating with their front line on who they're discording. New Llama always there peeling. And DePaul, to their credit, the pressure on the backline came from a purple, but it wasn't capitalized on, and that's when they pushed through. But now we get to see DePaul push through on their first attack, jumping straight onto the point and going to be looking to pressure out anybody that they can hop onto as Noob drops dangerously low and is going to be the first one to fall in this first fight, as DePaul has just no holds bar as they just push on through with this composition, with this Symmetra, and it's just going to be them fighting for their lives as Mo is already down, and Alondre just putting the damage in on Mischievous as they are the next ones to fall, but they are not stopping at all. They know what their comp is. Unfortunately, on the rotations, members were just falling left and right.
Yep, and I'd say when I played that, how you expect to play that. Kite out, walk away from the rush comp, wherever they're going, go the opposite direction, and start shooting them when they're trying to walk at you. Basics of this comp into a rush comp, and that's how it's played. Right there, really good engage from Max. So you kind of engage on the back line and kind of split them. You saw them kind of tear apart, and when that happens to a rush comp, they kind of end up tearing fully instead of trying to form back together because it's very hard to hold on to get back together.
Yeah, and they gave themselves a little bit more range here, swap to the Cassidy, getting on to the Junkrat, gives them a little bit more spam, a little bit more precise damage to put down on whoever they're targeting, but Zephyr is the one that's falling super low as the mines come through. The ammo wasn't enough to save him. Flux is also going to be invested. They wanted to make damn sure that DePaul knew who was going to win that fight.
I have question marks about why this Junkrat is getting picked into a composition that's going to be playing split from each other and very far away from you. Two things Junkrat does like in the slightest. So, yeah, a little odd. Nonetheless, Volak has decided to the pick they want to go for. How you gotta play this? Well, again, it's gonna be smart rotations. Right now, we're seeing rotations that are being predicted, they're being worked around, and it's just kind of how it is. Very hard to run this comp into William and Mary's composition. And now for DePaul, they're gonna have to find some kind of value with ultimates, but they don't have many of those. Just this window that's already been invested.
Yeah, window being invested now as they're trying to pump damage through onto Rival, but does a great job of just rotating out of sight, getting in and out, and it's only Tangerine making use of that window while the rotation comes through for DePaul. They are trying to get above everybody. We're seeing Zeph just drop onto the point. Shield dropping low. Does find Rival not paying attention. No one let him know as the charge comes through on his back. And now DePaul has a little bit of a moment, or an opportunity, I should say, to start finding picks in this fight. And a very nice trap and a nice follow-up there from Noob. Although Max does get away, but Noob wins that one-on-one duel. And now he's got an opportunity to pop this high noon. And it is going to come out looking for those kills. It is the trance that's popped in response. So now William and Mary have a chance to recontest and get his point. They have already given up one tick, but it was part of the plan as they are starting to push through as Max finds Noob. And it's just a bit of chaos now in this thing. Traffic come down, but not enough. And the other team members go down to Molten Core.
It looks great, but you really wanted that. You really wanted that for this next fight. They were trapped in there taking so much damage. Maybe you save a pick or two, but that's just going to come down to discipline instead of having to give them Molten Core. If you were going to use it earlier. But it's used nonetheless. Now, this is kind of the opening for DePaul after they swap their composition. So again, ultimates are very important for them to kind of make headway in this point. They've swapped it a lot in terms of their DPS, in terms of their tanks, even their support. Like, they have not had much opportunity to build up these ultimates, and when they've used them as well, it's been kind of ineffectual. Once again, trapped. Max is going to get poked out now. Can they capitalize on the only thing Junkett's given them so far, which is these traps?
Yeah, very dangerous, unique. Thank goodness Max was there to eat that trap for him as they are on the same path. The tire is going to be so crucial to find anything as it's down to literal 1 HP, but it does end up finding 2. One of them being Klama, which is very impactful for DePaul to try to turn this fight around as everyone on their team is starting to get back to full health as they stabilize and start to cap this point. It is going to take so much work for the rest of William & Mary to try to hold this out, but there it is. In overtime, they find a way, and the tire comes through.
Way has been found for them to try and salvage this kind of this map, try to potentially get a win on the board. If they cap with no time, no win available for them, but they can prolong the series and look for other potential avenues into a reverse sweep. That bomb is unfortunate. I'm having deja vu. I look to my right. I'm having deja vu is all I'm gonna say in terms of what I just saw. Again, the hum emoji is coming out right now. The hum emote is coming out right now. Don't know how that got a kill. It looked like a misclick from Rival. I believe they meant to press shift as well. I've done it. No shame in that. But Noob not tracking the bomb in terms of the big red marker on the screen. Didn't realize that they fat fingered. Thought it was somewhere else. Ends up losing their life for it. And now you do have Coalescence to come in and try to take this point though.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's just like ultimate mind games coming through. As you were mentioning, next with the mines, we got the pulse bomb online. Bull Traper in an epic duel, trying to see who can survive the fight. As Noob is not going to find the health pack, is dropping dangerously low, and it's going to be chased down by Unique. So the fight going the way of William & Mary, even off of the Diva Bomb that did end up finding Noob at the beginning. I do think, in general, by the way, that when Noob did that, he thought bomb was coming over the top.
Yeah, that's why I said he thought it fat finger. He thought it wasn't a fat finger. He thought he pressed shift. No, he was not aware. He was unaware. Now this next fight, you're coming in, you have beat for the mid fight. I want to say save the beat for the mid fight because you're going to try to use it to counteract how much value the Transcendence is going to get. If you're lucky, you could try and force out the Transcendence with this Primal and then try to look for a beat as that Transcendence is fading to try and give yourself extra HP advantage. Of course, that assumes you're living to that threshold. And Noob is now gone. Again, Noob has not been able to really play on this attacking side for this point because they're being hunted down by Unique. They're getting kind of spammed out by this Trigger, and it's very hard for them to do work.
Yeah, and a bit unlucky for Noob, I think, you know, getting that pulse spot, you know, miss earlier on, and then now, you know, getting picked in the last couple fights. Just to your point, just not being able to find their way in, but Unique is on the hunt yet again as, Noob finds the first shots there, but the heals are going to come through, and now it's on Noob to get back to the rest of the team. Does find the Mega, so it's just a classic Tracer duel sitting there, but meanwhile, up on top of the point, the beat is going to be dropped to keep everyone nice and healthy. Tiger going to come out, immediately taken down by Rival, so a huge power point for it to pull down. And now it's going to be on the rest of the team to try to pull it out, as Trance was also invested, Rival's bomb invested, but Tangerine is the one that comes up with kills, even though both of those come through. And DePaul is making this a bit of the fight, but this does nothing but benefit William & Mary, as their respawns will come through. a little bit closer as the time is ticking away down to 3, 2, and overtime about to be popped. Just Tangerine and the Lonesome Tracer on the point as the Mines will take care of the Tracer. I'm sorry, of the Diva. And Nuklama will whip shot away that Tracer. Doom, last one to touch. And there we go. Monkey might get one more in. No, not even get through as the roll stops him. And William Mary pull through on Volskaya.
That's going to be that one right there. And I mean, not the worst shot for DePaul. Again, like I said, it was a polarized matchup from the beginning. 11 and 2, now 12 and 2 for William and Mary, and it was 3 and 9, now 3 and 10 for DePaul. So a little bit of an unfortunate out for DePaul. They had some winnable opportunities, in fact, on multiple maps, particularly that first map on Busan. They could have won that second round. Potentially the third round, a little bit worse for them, but there were some avenues there. But they could have won that first round. Second round as well, they had a very strong start to the Nimbani offense. Of course, William Mary had also capped, so could they have repeated it? I don't know. But they also had a defensive set that was on paper should have won, but it did not happen. But not the worst outing for DePaul. Definitely don't look like the 18th ranked team. I've seen other teams and they look definitely better than some other teams. So, but for William Mary, it's kind of a question for them. It's like, can they compete with like the Colorados, the Wichitas, and those other top teams right now?
Yeah, and to your point, my personal view from William & Mary, yet again another 3-0 while I've been casting. And to William & Mary, well done. Well played. Very, very nice. And to DePaul, it was the best of times. It was the worst of times. Some of the things were great that we saw. And to Tangerine, like I said, mentioned before, we talked to him. It was a great showing as far as some of the things you all are trying to pull off and practicing. But going to finish out this 4-week stretch with 2 and 2. Looking to get back on the win column next week. But for right now, we are going to go to a quick break. But on the backside of that, we will be speaking to Alondre from William & Mary, the support Zen Phenom. So go ahead and join us back. It's a minute for that. And as promised, we're back with the EGF Season 3 brought to you by Intel. We have a laundry here from William and Mary after their 3-0 sweep of DePaul. Laundry, how we feeling after that victory?
Feeling pretty good. I'm feeling pretty confident. Probably going to do it again next week. So, feels good.
Already starting off with the confidence level. And as you just mentioned, DePaul and William and Mary will be going again next week. So come back again and watch that one. But I do have one quick question for you, Laundry. Where do you see your team and yourself in the grand scheme of the brackets right now? You're obviously in the top 5, and with some of these wins, you're starting to solidify yourself as top 5 team. I mean, what are the differentials between you and let's say Colorado and Arlington and some of these other teams? What makes you all different?
Frankly, I think that, okay, I'm a strong believer in confidence. And if you are confident, no matter who you are, what you do, I think that you can be the best. And I think our team has the potential to be the best and is already solidified ourselves as among the best. I think what is a strength is just how much we take, just like we spend time with each other and talk to each other, constantly talk about things like strats and what we're doing next week, constantly like formulating strats against our opponents, stuff like that. Like we take everything really seriously, but don't also like, get too competitive to the point that like we're in our own heads. So I think we're really emotionally stable, and then we use that to just play really well.
Yeah, I can already kind of feel that from the teammates in the back shaking their head along with the words. They quite understand what you're talking about. But worse, what do you think about what was just said?
Yeah, I just got a kind of feel for you guys right now because of how it's worked out in EGF, right? Where you have the pre-selected maps and all that kind of stuff. I don't think I've asked this question to a lot of teams, but what do you guys think about into a format where, like, I don't know particularly how else, but like where you lose your picks, right? How deep do you guys believe your map pool is right now?
I think our map pool is actually pretty good. I think that the comps we play pretty much are good for most maps in the game. If there was a map that we were bad at, I'm not gonna leave that. So,
Yeah.
but I think that we feel confident with what we can play, and we're always getting better.
I guess that ball comp is definitely a very versatile composition in terms of how many maps it's played on right now currently in the meta. So you guys have definitely proved yourself in terms of map with the composition you guys have selected.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, and Andre, before we let go, do you have any shout outs that you want to do right now?
Yeah, I want to shout out my team, that's usual, but I think this time I'm gonna shout out my friends and family who are watching every single week. I love you guys. I can't imagine doing this without you all. Specifically, one of my friends, Kai, she was the whole reason on an Overwatch team because she is the one who told me to go for it. So I think that was really a good decision for her to tell me that, and a good decision for me to be on this team. It makes me so happy.
That
So
is
thank you, Kai.
that is awesome. And thank you, Alondre and William and Mary, for allowing us this interview with one half of one of the best duos we have in the league. So thank you again.
Thank you.
That was Alondre with William and Mary. And like I said, they did a wonderful job today of just taking that 3-0 victory and never looking back. Coming up next, we do have Wichita versus Villanova. So I'm very excited for that. But unfortunately, worst, you do have to step away, and taking your place is Twin Salty. And you want to say before you step away?
Yeah. Yeah. Legit. Have fun casting with you every single time, no matter what game it is. Always love casting with you, Paid. And if you guys want to follow me on Twitter, I usually try to keep up to date on terms of where I'm casting, what I'm casting. So if you guys like what you did, go follow me there and keep up with me. I have some cool things coming up, so be tuned to that.
Yeah, nice and subtle there. But of course, worst cast, go follow him. Awesome, and thank
Not
you
about
so much,
subtlety.
everyone.
It's not about subtlety at that point. I need clout. Like, what can I say?
On the other side, it will be myself and Twin Salty casting over Wichita State and Villanova. So go ahead and join us back here in just a little bit, and we'll see you right after this.